the dislike and hit the subscribe button. What is up, gang? I thought I would do a different type of Rips and Sips. I thought I would show you how I make a Rips and Sips in case you have a phone or and that's all you got, because that's all I got. I don't have a PC or a fucking tablet or anything like that. So this is what I'm running with. So first off, what you want to do is go to your app store and find a free editor, a video editor app, unless you've got a fancier phone than what I have that may have it on there already or whatever. So this is how I'm doing it. I went and got YouCut. The app is called YouCut. I'm an idiot, and I'm using YouCut right now to put my dumb face back in here to tell you I'm an idiot, and it's called YouCut. I was looking through them. They all looked almost the same. The apps, that one had 5 stars, I think, and I fucking chose that one. With that said, I'll show pictures of what it looks like and stuff. So, and there's links in my in the description or the tags of my video, I believe. Anyhow, it's in there somewhere in the video title. And so back on topic here. What we do, you go get that software or that app, and then it's going to have access to your videos and your pictures. So then you will find that icon on your phone. You'll click it. It'll have a little plus sign, a little addition sign. You hit that, and it will pull up a screen. That screen will have choices that it'll have another little plus button down in the bottom corner, bottom left, I think. You will hit that, and then that will take you to a menu that says photos or videos, and it'll have your photos and videos right there that you're looking at. So then you choose what you want. Now, what I have is I found a Baptist sermon database, basically, that was MP4 files, and I could download them on my phone. Then I would have that video. Then I would run it into my Uclip app. Then I would chop out a piece, because it will bring up whenever you load it into your app, it will bring up a scroll across the bottom of the screen of your video. Then I would basically just hit play, listen, and they usually go. It doesn't take long with these Southern Baptist preachers, right? They go right into some horse shit right away. So as soon as they start talking some bullshit it's kind of spicy, you can add some commentary to it and tell them that they're full of shit or whatever. Then you pick out roughly a 5-minute clip. If I'm doing it this way, the way I figured out with how to pause it. Before I would pause it, I would do a 10-minute clip, because I would be talking over them and I would be losing a whole lot of stuff that I could pick out and talk about because I was talking over it. So when we were doing but Pocket Locker 86 and my one black friend did a stream, and my one black friend said something about me having a pause button. And that really stuck in my head, like, yeah, man, I need a pause button. So I figured out how to do that. And how you do that is at the bottom of your little screen where your tape's scrolling, there'll be, if you click on the tape, on the scroll itself, you push it like it's a button, it will then highlight it in red around the little rectangle that is the scroll. And now your option bar above that, it'll have a thing that says split. So now I can hit that split button right there where I want to pause. You hit that split button, that splits the tape. Then you go back, you get out of your app, go back to, and then you go to your camera on your phone. You record your reaction to that part of the video. Now you might want to play, the way I like to do it is I like to play it fresh a couple times because it's pissed me off. There's something about it I'm picking out. I like to play it, get it fresh in my head, switch it as fast as I can to my camera, and then react to it right away. And I try to keep that. It's hard for me personally to keep that information in my head that I'm mad about, and while I'm trying to react to it. So I'm kind of photographic memory playing that in my head while I'm reacting to it at my camera. So then I get that footage, right? And then I go to where I split. And you go down to the bottom of your screen and you hit your little plus sign again, little orange plus sign. It is on mine. I would imagine it's like that on everybody's. You hit that, and then you scroll up. It'll put a little gray block where you split it. It'll put a little gray block where you could either click on that and make it fade in and out. You could do an effect there or whatever. You scroll to the left of it. There'll be like a little single line that's like where you're at on the tape, and then there's a before and after. So you want to go before that to the left of it as you're looking at it. So your gray block is not on that. Your gray block is to the right of that. Then you push the addition button or the little plus symbol, and then you go to your video and you put in that reaction piece, and you put it in there, and then you will have to adjust your volume. You will adjust all your little settings that you've been doing. Like whenever I do it, I've got an intro that I made up. I've got text that I put in, and there's all kinds of different things that you got to do that you got to figure out. But now that's how you pause, because you can't just pause live while you're doing it like you can if you've got a nice setup. So you got to do it this way. Now, after you do that, you make your reaction and everything. Now you can add, I don't add any picture-in-picture things. If I'm doing it this way, if I'm pausing, the way I'm going to go, it's scrolling this way. So as you're going and you're clipping out and you're pausing and you're making your little stops, you're going to be inserting content in there, and that's going to make that line bigger. That's going to make your timeline longer. So then if you're putting your picture-in-picture reactions in already, as you're making those pauses and making your timeline bigger, your picture-in-picture reaction is not going to be any longer synced up where you put it initially. That's a problem you'll run into. So you want to do your picture-in-picture stuff after you do your pause stuff. That's something I had to fucking figure out on my own. So that's why I'm doing this video, to try to cut your time in half figuring this shit out. So what you've done now, you've got your intro set. If you want an intro, if not, you can jump right into it. However the fuck you want to do it, up to you. You have chosen your clip. You have shortened it to the length that you want it. You have now got it scrolling across the bottom of your screen. You have figured out how to pause it by splitting the tape and inserting your reaction. So now let's get on to my RipCam, for instance. For instance, what I did there was I took my phone, laid it on its back, and was filming straight up at the ceiling, right? I took my water bong, made sure there's clean water in it and everything, which you should always do anyway. And I sat it right down on top of that camera so I could see it. So I could see what I was looking at, right? And then I tried to take a nice, smooth, normal hit off of that pipe and do a regular rip, right? That way, in future episodes, because I'm not going to shoot a RipCam every episode. I'm only going to do this once. And then I can clip that clip to length to fit me hitting the bong. So that's a little fucking task all in itself. So what I did, like I said, I filmed me hitting an average hit. I didn't try to take a giant one. I didn't try to take a small one. I tried to take just an average, regular old, I'm taking a bong rip. Filmed that. Got the nice little bubblies and smoke and shit. And then what I do is I picture-in-picture that whenever I do my initial intro, and then when I do my outro, I sync those up. If I do it right, it's not very hard. It flows pretty much right along. I might have to shorten it on one end or the other. Now, if I get crazy and pack a giant one and I hit it for 20 seconds instead of 15 seconds or something, because I figured out that that's basically my average rip is about 15 seconds. So I got that information in my head. Now, if I get crazy, I would have to lengthen that or just toss that out and redo it. Which, if you're like me, you hate doing that. It's a pain in your ass. I like getting shit in one take, but it don't fucking happen. It doesn't happen all the time. I stumble over my words. I fuck up a lot. So you end up redoing shit, reshooting shit, chopping shit down, leaving shit out that you thought you really wanted to say, but maybe it wasn't that fucking important. Maybe you want to, you know, and I'm trying to keep it 10 to 14 minutes. I try to keep it right around 10, but sometimes I go up into the 13, 14s. But, yeah. With that said, I'm going to try to edit some of this shit together. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to tell you. When you're adding picture-in-picture stuff, what to keep in mind is you're going to have to... Oh, this is important for whenever I add picture-in-picture stuff on here. I have this pen. This pen has a little rubber tip up here on the end, or a little, some kind of flexible little thing. It works for me to touch my screen with. Like I can actuate the buttons and shit on my touch screen with this. So this thing is good to have because my fingers are big and it doesn't want to get down there to do the fine work in the editing. So it helps to have something like this that you can get down in there and scroll real finely on that tape at the bottom. So whenever I'm putting in, like during Machine Gun Willie there, I would have, whenever he would do his little machine gun stammer, I would have the little bullshit machine gun show up, right? That goes ba ba ba, and then there's a little pile of turds there at the end. So what you do, that's going to come up on as a 15-second clip. It's going to run a certain length. You're going to have to shorten that. You're going to have to cut out the piece where he stammers and does his little dumb shit. You'll put your splits on both ends of that. That gives you a reference to look at, that I need to put this thing here. And then you're going to move because you long click on your, it'll come up as a little bar above your other bars. That's what it is. As your tape bar is running, as you're adding things, you're layering other little bars on top of there that's running along with your video, whether it be music or picture-in-picture stuff or whatever. So that's how that happens. And you can only layer, I think, 3 or 4 vertically on that bar that's running. So you're going to have to pick out what you find more important or what you want to do. And like whenever I would do certain like reactions, when I would have like 3 pictures of myself at the bottom of the screen screaming or doing something goofy, I would take those 3 separate videos, cut them, layer them on top of each other, try to sync them all up so I'm doing it in whatever order I want, whether I want us to all pop up at once doing the thing, or if I want one to pop up over here and do a thing and another me to pop up over here and react over here. So I have to be looking a certain direction, and then it's reversed on the camera. So I kind of pay attention to those flags and shit behind me, which way I'm looking in orientation to those. So I'm reacting to me in the future that I'm going to put up on the screen. So that's a thing to think about. This little tool, like I said, is indispensable right now because it's how I get where my fingers don't want to fit on that screen. So, and then, like I said, whenever I was putting in the little machine gun icon bullshit there, I will finally move it and then shrink that 15-second clip into like a half a second clip or a 1 second clip. And then that way when he goes, that little thing pops up and it pops back out of existence immediately. That's how that happens. Otherwise, it's going to stay there and then run into the rest of your shit and not make any fucking sense. So you want to be able to do that. Adding music. what I found, if so YouTube's really strict on your fucking music. You can't use really anything other than their pre whatever music that you're allowed to use on there. They're pre-approved music, I guess you would say. But I found workarounds. I've used some like metal music and shit that I like. Occasionally have gotten away with it. Sometimes I haven't. Sometimes they pick it up. But the way I did it, the way I got away with it was I would layer a song that is acceptable, right? That is YouTube approved or pre-approved or whatever the fuck. I would layer that song, and then I would layer the metal song that I wanted to over that. Then I would play the one that is overlaid the song that I want, the approved one. I would turn the approved one up to such a volume that it would be kind of interfering with the song I wanted, but the song I wanted was still playing pretty clearly. So I would play them simultaneously, and then that sometimes, most times, would get by the YouTube algorithm checker or whatever the fuck. Now, what you do other than that, though, you get, if you're not trying to fuck around and do that, you get your pre-approved music. You go click it, because it'll come up on your little scroll. There'll be a little music note. You hit it. It's going to come up with a list of songs that you can have. You pick one. It'll play it for you there in a short little demo. Okay, I like how that sounds. You push use, the use button. It'll flip it over and put it in a yellow bar on your little display that I was talking about, where it layers the bars. Then you take that to length, whatever you want, wherever you want it to come in at, wherever you want it to go out at. Shrink it to size. Then you can click on that bar that is the music bar. Click on it, and then you will have an option to fade. You can fade it in a number of seconds and out a number of seconds if you want to do that. Or you can just abruptly chop it either way. So that's how you do that. And you long click to move any of those bars. If you want to move them down the timeline or up the timeline, you long click on them and move them. On my phone, you have to be careful, because if I push my screen and swipe, it backs me out of screens. So I have got to be careful when I'm doing that I'm not kicking myself off the app and then having to go right back through it, scroll to where I was at, and all that bullshit. That's a problem you can encounter, so you got to be careful about that. This thing also helps with that, because you can get in there and move without doing a finger swipe that your phone's picking up as you wanting to back out of the screen. So, with that said, I think I've covered everything I want to cover here. I'm going to edit this together and hopefully present you something that you can understand. All right, gang. I hope you found that informative. I hope this will help you out. Anyone wanting to shoot some videos using your phone. And I'll leave you like I always do, gang, with a rip and a sip. And also, before I do that, leave me any comments if you are interested in this and I didn't cover something that you want to know. Please leave me a comment and I will try to answer it for you as best I can. With that said, I will leave you like I always do, gang, with a rip and a sip.